Morning, everybody. Welcome to LOCPOD, the Midwest's most dangerous podcast, coming to you live from the NACA IBEW Power in Indiana Lake County Studios.
Season 12, episode 23.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
It's almost the end.
Two more.
One more. Well,
yeah.
This and another.
I'm counting this.
I got you.
You're obviously not planning on participating today.
I'll be
like
there.
Fucking vegetative state.
No, I'm ready. First episode post-assassination attempt.
All right, I'm here.
I'm ready. It's Fest Week, man. It's already got me going.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on.
Yeah.
We had a weekend, huh? America?
Yes, we did.
America?
Can you believe everything that's happened since the last
So
podcast?
much.
Crazy.
Friday at 8:30 a.m. Think about what's happened.
Like the big
since
story
then.
on Friday, and we snagged a great guest for today.
Yes.
The big story on Friday when we snagged our guest.
Friday afternoon.
Was Alec Baldwin, the trial. Alec Baldwin's trial was dismissed.
Yes.
And we got a judge to come on LOCPOD to talk about it.
Yes. A
And
judge
then-
who is actually at the armorer's trial.
And like is a geek about that particular trial, and she is psyched to come on LOCPOD to talk about the biggest story in America on Friday. And then
Saturday happened.
Wow. No making jokes about that. That's a damn travesty what's going on in this country. America's flat broken right now.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again.
Yeah. And like so obviously what happened Saturday with the failed assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump, I think it changed everything. I mean, it really did. Like, we got lucky. We got really lucky.
Yeah,
that,
I mean...
that he missed. Because if that bullet was a little bit further to the right, and God forbid something happened to the former president, we'd have been in a freaking shit show. Who knows what we'd be doing right now. Like, we got lucky, America, in my opinion.
Yeah, he definitely got lucky. I think no one wants to see him dead, that's for sure, by an assassin's bullet. I just think it's crazy that... I think both of us had a reaction of like, okay, who is this, right?
Yeah.
And, I think we had different views of who it might be.
What do you think, Joe?
It's really hard to feel bad for someone who's sown hatred all these years.
He does, no doubt.
Jill, who did you think it was probably that tried to kill him?
So immediately I thought he was crazy enough to potentially hire someone to,
Oh God.
There was
to do a
definitely
stunt.
There was definitely
Talk
thought,
about conspiracy
but
theories.
then no, I mean
I don't put it past him.
I don't put it past him either, and the
Wow.
thought definitely passed through my head. It didn't pass through your head?
No.
That there was some, like, I am so, when it comes to political games, I am so, like, anytime, like, it goes back to,
right?
yes,
Sure.
thank you, that's the word I'm looking for.
That's your...
Like, the old broken window right before election day. It's never the other party. It's the party that broke their own window. It always, like, whenever you see shit like that, it's a stunts that they play so that they're like, look at this other person broke my window. They're so afraid.
sign stealing.
It happens
Yeah, like-
every time.
and it's
and
interesting
usually
that
it's their own people doing it to themselves.
And I always, it's funny because it's just a different, like, Tom is very good at like picking that stuff up. And I'm always like, yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're definitely the skeptic. And I'm always like, I don't know. And then a lot of times Tom's like, see, I told you. Now, I'd be pretty shocked that if that would have been the case.
Well, it would have been dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
that
have
was a
to have
live bullet.
You'd have to, well, how about the photo of the bullet flying by him?
That's why I'm saying that sort of eliminated that whole theory, right? Because, like, if you're going to, Jill, I mean...
Well, I'm not saying he was supposed to shoot
You
at
could get a
him.
freaking sharpsharpshooter, and
There's no
he's
way you
like,
take
hey,
that
man, I'm going to
chance.
take out your earlobe. Okay?
No.
I'm going to stand here. You're going to be 200 yards away and take out my earlobe, okay? Fuck
And
that.
turn your head.
Yeah, and
23
the exact
seconds
moment.
Okay,
before-
on 3, I'm going to turn my head, and you're going to take my earlobe out.
So-
I'm going to skip that one.
But I think maybe the weirdest thing to me was just that, like, you've got some 20-year-old kid. 20-year-old. I mean, we've got 20-year-old kids, right?
Yeah.
And some 20-year-old kid that, for whatever reason, is just, maybe we'll know the motive, maybe we won't, who is registered as a Republican, who's give $15 to a Democratic cause, who's
Doesn't
a
matter.
loner,
It doesn't
who's
matter
been bullied.
What he's registered. It doesn't
I'm
matter
not-
what
I'm
he's
not-
donated
Tom,
to.
I'm
It
not
just
saying-
doesn't.
I'm
It
not-
just doesn't. People
Okay.
are saying it in the real media, too.
Tom,
Kevin.
I'm not giving my opinion as to what it means that he's a registered Republican. I'm just
fucking
giving
psycho.
I'm giving the facts.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is at the end of the day, I think it's absolutely amazing and crazy that a 20-year-old, obviously disturbed person is able now to drive the discourse of this country for the next 5 months. Somebody who probably hasn't even participated in the political process, gives a shit
Let me
about
ask
the
you a
political
question.
process.
Do you think the head of the Secret Service should be fired?
I think there's
I definitely do.
a lot of questions for the Secret Service
I don't
because
think-
here's what I remember, Tom. When Hillary Clinton came to your Civic Center, when Joe Donnelly came to your Civic Center, when Joe Biden came to your Civic Center, I remember the Secret Service being on the rooftops of the following buildings: Hammond High,
Right.
Civic Center,
ACC.
Hammond Tech, and City Hall. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a roof 150 yards away. How in the world is that not secured?
Right.
But also, how are there not drones? How are
Well,
you
but
not
Good,
watching
good
from the
question,
air?
Joe. Like, that's a great
Security
question.
drones, right?
Yeah.
But like, they're like that's why I would have fired the head of Secret Service.
Total failure by
on
the Secret
Monday.
Service.
Like, she should have been, whoever she or he should have been fired on Monday.
She.
She should have been fired on Monday.
Damn it.
How the fuck do you get that close to the former president? Like, what do we have to do before that person gets fired? Do you have to get fucking killed? Like, that person should be fired, President Biden. I don't give a shit who. That person failed massively, and it, using Kevin's word, it's going to drive the discourse of this race for the next 5 months because she failed in her duty.
A total failure of security.
The head of the Secret Service should have been fired yesterday.
And I don't know who was in charge of that job because they put a agent
But
in charge.
like the shit,
Absolutely.
rolls down here.
For
Like, you're the
sure,
boss.
for sure.
You're responsible for the whole mess up.
Without
Even
a
though
doubt.
she could have been on vacation in the Bahamas for all I know.
Absolutely agree with you.
Right? But like, that was a failure. You're ultimately responsible. You know, I always remember
Should have
this.
submitted the resignation.
Agree. Why are we going through this? That person should have been fired yesterday.
Like, totally agree.
I mean, John?
Absolutely. She has since given an interview like yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and the reporter straight up asked her, "Do you plan on quitting? Do you plan on staying in your position?" She said, "No, I'm staying in it." And she
just like Biden.
This is the wildest part. She follows it up
gonna say
with
the same thing.
She follows it up with, "I just need to make sure something like this doesn't happen again."
That is
To which
such a joke.
Amy had the best quip. We were watching this together. She goes, she said that so nonchalantly, like she ordered
Right.
fries and got onion rings. We
How
just
about
got to
this?
make sure this
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
happen again.
How about this? I guarantee you, if it was Obama that got clipped in the ear, the Secret Service head would have been fired. I guarantee you. If Obama got clipped in the head, it would have been the head of the Secret Service goes down that fucking same day, probably.
I'll tell you that.
But like, because it was Trump, I think that they're acting differently.
I'll say this. It is one further example of the problem with the Biden administration of people trying to hold on to their power.
yes.
It is.
We
I
noticing a
am
pattern here?
absolutely convinced that the reason Joe Biden is still in the race is that there are people around him that love the power they have in
Yes.
D.C.
So who are you
that
talking
love the
about?
power.
Like, not-
I don't know.
So you're saying
it could-
cabinet members?
I mean, maybe it could be
Joe
cabinet
Biden?
members. Could be
Joe?
people in the Senate. Could be people that aren't running. It could be Jill Biden. It could be his family.
Why
It
would
could
a
be the-
senator care?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's got a great relationship with Joe Biden. I don't know.
Right.
He's got access. I'm just saying there are people in D.C., whether it be undersecretaries of state, whether it be cabinet members, political appointees, whatever it is, they are afraid of losing the power they have.
Right.
And so they're saying,
I agree with
if
you.
another Democratic nominee comes in here,
I'll be
they're going to
let
get rid
go.
of me.
No doubt about it, Kevin.
And so
I
it's like
totally
this-
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's exactly what's going on.
And it's sad.
I'm not going to blame the senators because they're independent elected.
Yeah, and
officials.
I'm just
I'm going to
throwing-
blame the cabinet. I think there's people in the cabinet that should have done their fucking job. And they should have told America what was really going on behind closed doors. We had to see it for ourselves when he was debating President Trump, former President Trump. We had to get confirmed what we all probably knew what was going on. And by the way, Donald Trump's not a young man, but I don't feel the same way about Donald Trump looking at him. I don't really think that Donald Trump's lost his faculties. I think that he's operating at a high level mentally. Okay. And I'm not for Donald Trump. But I don't think he's nuts. I don't think he's like experiencing early onset of Alzheimer's. When I look at Joe Biden, that's the feeling I get, is this guy doesn't know what's going on. And he's being run by a bunch of puppet masters. And that's why they want him there, so that they can keep on running the puppet master for the next 4.5 years.
And I would say, I think the only thing I would say about that, and this goes without saying, I've said it on the pod before, I am a Joe Biden fan. I just feel,
I voted for him, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, me too. And I just feel that, and I don't know if he doesn't know what's going on. I have a feeling he has something going on. He has something physically, mentally going on. I still think he's a smart guy.
Like what?
I just don't think he's
Mentally?
able to.
Like what? Aphasia?
What if it's
like,
Parkinson's? What if it's
Right.
early onset? Whatever it is, right? And because I still think his
Kevin,
brain
you know
is
what?
working.
You know what makes me feel that? I've experienced
Yeah.
this type of Alzheimer's in my family.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I see in Joe Biden's eyes, that look that he gives sometimes, I've seen that look before.
It's a vacant look.
It's like, what's going on look. And I've seen that look.
It's almost like he's trying to catch up to what's going on.
Yes.
Like he's like, okay, hold on, I got this. Let me just get my brain going.
Way behind. And he's probably not going to catch up because things are happening in real time that he's not going to be able to catch up with also.
And my biggest concern is that, look, America I still believe this, as the leader of the world and as the most important player in global politics and international relations and everything like that, has to present a strong front. And I just fear that Joe Biden can't present that strong front, and people are going to think they can take advantage of the country.
Agree.
And I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for Trump, right? It's just that I think the Democratic Party has to realize that they need another nominee.
Man, I wish the Democratic Party was listening to LOCPOD about a year ago.
Well, Elon, yeah.
I wish they were.
Because you were saying it.
I was trying. Nobody wants to say the
I was
shit that I was
defending Joe
saying.
Biden then.
Well, you know what, Kevin? I'm not blaming because the whole damn party was there. I was saying this stuff. I saw it in his eyes. I was just saying how like I think the Democratic Party is like a young and vibrant party.
Yeah.
And we're like full of youth and energy and vigor. How do we excite a base of young people when we got a freaking dude that's 81 now? How that person is not going to excite the base. Donald Trump's going to excite his base.
The assassination
Our guy
attempt
is not going to excite the base.
The assassination attempt only. I mean, all you had to do was see what Trump did after, and I mean, I guarantee I couldn't. I'd be so freaking scared. I sure as heck wouldn't have been like, wait, let me get my shoes and put my fist up in the air. But he did, and it was pretty smart of him to do it.
I think that was the best political. Like, I don't really give him tons of credit, Donald, but that was such incredible political instincts. He was like probably on the ground. He's probably realized he's safe, and he knows he's bleeding. He's probably rubbing that stuff all over his face.
No, I don't know. It was definitely gravity, I think.
It was definitely, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I would be, I think, I think he was like down on the ground, realized he was safe, and then he's like, dude, this is the opportunity of a lifetime.
I think he was pissed.
He was definitely pissed. You can tell.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable clip. They're still showing it, obviously. I almost don't even want to watch it anymore.
I don't either.
It's very
I'm done.
chilling.
Yeah, I agree, John. I'm the same way with it.
You know what's weird is seeing all the different angles on TikTok. Now you're starting to see all this stuff come out where people that are behind him and they see what happened, and people... And then you could see the guy that got hit by the bullet and fall to the ground.
How about that BBC interview of that guy's like, man, I was telling the police there's this guy going up. I mean, that was the one I kept watching. I was like, what?
It's bad. By the end of this, the Secret Service, the head of the Secret, she's done. Like,
why wasn't she done yesterday?
I know.
Done
you know what? That looks like a good, like if I was the president.
I'd be like, you're done.
You know exactly what happened, Kevin, because that's what happens in City Hall. It's like a massive, total fuck up happened under your watch. It's monumental history books kind of fuck up, right? Let's debate this a little. Oh, the poor lady. Fuck that. She should have been fired. That's your number one job, is to protect these people. She should have been fired yesterday, because that, to me, would look like we have a strong-ass president. Mm-hmm. He's not going to take this kind of bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. What the hell is going on? Well, the fucking former president of the United States almost got killed.
And
by an inch.
And let's not forget the failure of her. The failure of her, right, also resulted in someone getting killed. Okay, it's not just...
Good point.
It's not a firefighter, somebody that's a first responder, a husband, a father, a son. I mean, this guy got killed.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, you cannot... it's easy to just talk about Trump.
Thank you, Kevin. That's
but the fact is, if the Secret Service would have done their job, that guy's not on the roof, and that poor guy doesn't get killed with a headshot by an AR-15, which is a whole nother situation. But.
And to Tom's point, like the videos that are coming out every day are worse and worse for the Secret Service.
Without
now it's
a doubt.
30 minutes beforehand, they've got this guy. They're looking for this guy. That's what's coming out now. Is
really?
Oh, it's bad, man.
Well, like
it's bad.
The one Kevin was talking, I saw him last night. It's different TikToks I'm seeing now, and they're like yelling, "There's a guy on the roof with a gun!" Yeah. They're like yelling at the cops, and the people are running around. And it's like and then all of a sudden you hear, and then the return volley.
It definitely seems that there were minutes before where someone could have radioed, just as a precaution, get the president off the stage.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Like, go cover him, get him out of there. Just let us figure out what the F is going on here.
100%.
I mean, it's like,
this
what?
Guy, if they had reports of this guy 30 minutes beforehand and then they lost him, you don't let the president
don't go on.
No kidding.
Yes.
No kidding.
John, if you had reports of something going on 3 minutes, 30 seconds,
no kidding.
You're just like, get him off the stage now.
Until we figure out what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Let's figure out what's going on.
Well, and like to Jill's point, why the hell aren't we using drones to secure the whole area?
Yep.
That makes no sense at all. Why? Yep. That's an easy little fix right there. I never even thought of. It's like we have drones all over now. And like, you can't fly a couple drones just to do like perimeter search.
You know, I was watching it with Jan at home, and she said something that kind of clicked. And it's true in any job, anything. You know, you get kind of almost just like used to the routine.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and you're like, oh,
No
well,
doubt about
you know,
it.
I've secured 500 of these.
Yes.
You know, we're just going to do it
Nothing's
the
ever
same
gonna
way.
happen.
Nothing will ever. I'm just laying
We're
around,
the
man.
best Secret Service
That's
agency
right.
in the world.
Nothing ever happens. And
Right.
it's like, holy shit, something's happening. I
That's
gotta
why
remember-
you got to fire her.
Exactly.
Yesterday. Could you pull up
Exactly.
her picture, John, so we can see? Like, I
Tom
feel
wants to put a
bad.
picture.
No, seriously. I keep on talking about firing this person. I just want to see who I'm talking about should be
Well,
fired.
and you know, to go to your point, Tom, earlier, where you said, look, I've done it at City Hall. I think that's where the president needs to show leadership, just like
Yes.
the mayor shows leadership.
Yes, Kevin, exactly. Because if he fired her yesterday, that's national news.
That's right.
Okay? And then it's like, you know, mistake happens. 2 days later, you're fired, right? And it's a mistake. I don't care what the excuse is.
No, it's not
They messed
intentional.
up. But she is ultimately responsible. That's how the military works, President Biden.
We'll talk about the story where what
Yeah,
happened
I
in
was-
the middle of the ocean.
It was there was the one I remember was growing up in San Francisco. There was a huge aircraft carrier that grounded in the San Francisco Bay, and it was national news. It was huge news where we lived. It was all tilted off to the side, and they had to wait for the tide to come in and lift them up so that they can get off it, right? And while this thing was sitting there, this is when I was in high school still, they fired the captain. And I remember at the time, I was like, the captain wasn't even on the ship, because a lot of times the captains don't get on the ship until it's moving
Gotcha.
out.
Okay.
They had like the officer of the deck on there, right? And they fired the captain. And it was that time I was like, wow, the Navy doesn't mess around. The captain wasn't even on the ship, and he got fired. It's like,
But-
yeah, because you are ultimately responsible for what happens to that ship.
But I thought something happened while you were actually on duty, where they
Well, there was one submarine ran aground in Key West. That
Okay.
was one when I was on watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
On
thought
watch
something
up
where
in-
somebody came and grabbed somebody and
Oh, yeah. I can't
Yeah.
really talk about that
Gotcha.
on there. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
that one I'm
sorry.
not going to talk about
maybe
on
we've
the
talked
air.
about that off the air.
I don't think I've ever talked about that on the air.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha. I was-
Yeah.
We'll
okay.
never know, people.
Can't talk about that.
My
Sorry.
Navy guys are coming to town this week, too.
We won't
They
ask
hear me
them
talking-
either.
They hear me talking about that. I'll end up in the clink. That's one thing I'll guarantee you the federal government will accomplish. If I talked about my Navy exploits, they would show up at my house and arrest my ass the next day. I am positive about that. But the head of the Secret Service could get somebody almost killed, and she's still employed gainfully.
Well, I think even more shocking is what John said, which is she doubled down, and she said like, "Oh no, I'm not planning on quitting." It's like you don't deserve the job.
You're making the president look bad.
I agree. You should
you're-
submit your resignation.
Your department's failure caused the president, like, his path to re-election is much harder now.
Yeah.
Much harder.
Agreed.
They've made a martyr out of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her department's fault. Not her fault. Her department's fault. And she's ultimately responsible.
And I was thinking, oh, this has to be a fully trained veteran sniper of the U.S. Armed Forces that did
Okay.
this.
Go back to where we were earlier. So
Yeah.
that's who you pictured military person.
I pictured like 50s white guy, former military sniper, and when I heard it, I was like, that's rifle fire from a distance, and I could hear return fire. That was what I heard when I heard, because I was listening to that on the radio.
I thought it was a military person myself, probably a sniper, because I thought they were going for the head and they got the ear.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were literally trying to hit him in the head, and either that or I thought it could have been like a total progressive, like just one of those far out lefties that's just sort of.
I just
lost
figured
touch.
they're not real good gun shooters. You know, that's I'm just thinking.
Maybe from the south, like
Thank
a
God.
liberal from Texas.
But like,
Who
yeah,
did
there
you think
go.
it was, Joe?
I think I was, some kind of military or police training or.
But they would have to be a
Along those
D
lines.
too.
And I thought
right?
older for sure. I didn't think 20.
But I guess
No.
like all these kids, they play all these very realistic
Yeah,
video
good
games.
point, Joe.
So I mean,
Good
how
point.
does that
Play in.
correlate to real life?
Very good point.
It's
Joe.
interesting. Like, what is that? I don't ever play the
Yeah,
game.
John, what's it called?
Warzone.
Combat or
Warzone.
oh, I don't know.
What's the one they all play? All the kids. It's not
Warzone.
no
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. there
Yeah,
you go.
Call of Duty. Right. As you can tell, I don't play a lot of video games. Yeah.
Nerds.
COD.
I'm really sad about the whole thing, man. I'm just really sad.
Well, it just underscores the continual issues we have with, just everybody in their own corner, and it sucks. It sucks. This, one thing the president was right about when he went on TV. He said we should be deciding these things by ballots, not bullets. But
Yeah. Thanks.
it's a quip. That's it.
So the former president had a big weekend other than almost being killed. He also had a favorable outcome in a Florida criminal case that he was facing. It was the documents case from Florida where in Mar-a-Lago, the president, I'm not even going to say allegedly, the president stored classified material, former president Donald Trump stored classified material in Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI. A lot of classified top secret material was found there. It was not supposed to be there. Criminal charges were brought against Donald J. Trump in a Florida district court, which is federal court in Florida. And the case was just dismissed against him by a Trump-appointed federal court judge.
Huh.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, I have a problem with this, just kind of almost as a lawyer a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for trying to do whatever you can to defend your client, and these lawyers obviously did a great job doing that. If you've ever done federal criminal law, I know we always have John Cantrell on here. I've done federal criminal cases back in the day when I used to do a lot of criminal law. There's a lot of pretrial motions that get filed. It is so rare for a federal criminal case to be thrown out pretrial. It's so rare.
Okay.
But extremely rare.
In fairness, how rare is it for former president of the United States to have charges filed against him? That's
also extremely rare.
That's extraordinary.
Which again, that's why I point that out is, I mean, you made a good point, is that this case is getting like extra scrutiny, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, we're going to really take a look at these arguments.
It's an extraordinary case, so that I imagine the judge approaches it differently.
These arguments have been made time and time and time again and never got much traction. Like, for example, even in high-profile cases, the Hunter Biden trial, they raised this issue. When Bill Barr...
The issue was the improper appointment of a special prosecutor.
I'm sorry, thank you. Yeah, Bill Barr, when he was Attorney General, it was raised when he appointed John Dunham as special prosecutor. Failed. So this argument's been made. The only thing I can... And by the way, two things that the judge based her ruling on. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but just it's brief. One, the appointments clause. She said that the appointments clause of the Constitution says that if the president makes appointments, it has to be approved by the Senate. Okay? That's special prosecutor. That's what she said. And it usurps...
I don't remember.
That's what... The question is this one of those appointments?
Hold it. I don't think there's anything in the U.S. Constitution, in the actual text of the U.S. Constitution, that has anything to do with special prosecutor.
No, it doesn't, but there is an appointments clause. Inferred that the special prosecutor is an appointment by the president or the executive branch, in this case the Attorney General.
So like a cabinet member?
That should have gone through the Senate. For any political appointments.
She's equating...
ambassador.
Right.
Ambassador,
cabinet
for
member.
example. No, like an ambassador, let's just say, or appointment to...
What's the difference between a cabinet member and an ambassador? They both have to go through the
Correct.
Senate.
That's what they're saying, that this would equate to one of those. Right. Yeah, sure. Cabinet member. Right. Okay. Exactly.
You just didn't want to give me one.
No, I was trying to think of somebody. I was trying to think of something lesser.
Did you see him grab that pocket Constitution?
He did. He grabbed the fucking pocket Constitution. I said, "What about an ambassador?"
I was trying.
What did he put it down?
What about a cabinet member? He's like, "No, an ambassador."
No.
What about a cabinet member?
Let me look real quick.
Let me grab the Constitution.
Everybody knows
cabinet member.
Everybody knows cabinet member. I was
ambassador.
thinking of somebody lesser, like we're not used to being appointed.
He did immediately grab
very
it
quickly.
Well, what were you?
He's like, "I am holding the Constitution, prick." Like,
don't mess with me. I have my.
Give me a couple hours to look this up. What do you have?
There's nothing in there that says special prosecutor.
Agreed.
Okay, the actual language of this, we both agree, there's not the word special prosecutor in here.
No, but there is language that says appointments by the president have to be approved by the Senate. So that's what they're hanging their hat on.
But
it's crazy.
There's a lot of
me.
appointments the president makes that aren't confirmed by the
Thousands.
Senate. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
Yes.
Okay.
So
he's appointing like spots that we don't even know about that aren't confirmed by the Senate. Right.
So that's number one. Number two, she said that you can't have indefinite funding if it's not the appropriations clause. If the funding of the special prosecutor, which is now over $12 million, hasn't been appropriated by Congress, you can't just have a blank check by the Treasury.
So in reality, if let's say this federal judge is right, okay, and the president anytime has to appoint a special prosecutor, the president has to go through the United States Senate and get it confirmed by what, 2/3?
No, good question. I don't know.
I think it's 2/3. If you're going to be, that's what cabinet members and ambassadors are.
Is it 2/3?
Yes, it's 2/3.
Really?
Yes, sir. Get your freaking Constitution.
I gotta
out
look.
check there, man.
I gotta look.
Okay.
Well, you're talking
dig
about
on
it.
that. Dig on that.
I will.
Okay?
That's awesome.
So what I'm saying is, if this is correct, if this judge is right, which I think the judge is not right, I think this federal court judge in Florida is definitely wrong. Okay, because the only reason presidents appoint special prosecutors is to investigate crimes, right? So, Jill, can you imagine this? That the president's like, hey, I'm going to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate this crime, but the Senate is like held by the opposing party. And the Senate says, no, we're not going to approve that special prosecutor. Then what happens?
Nothing would ever get done if that
exactly.
was the case.
You have to go through Congress to get the fuck out of here. Congress? They can't pass shit. Congress is paralyzed. So we have to go through Congress to get this resolved. So that means special prosecutors are never going to be appointed again, right? How fucking convenient for the criminal class. Oh, can't have a special prosecutor unless 2/3 of the Senate's on board. What a freaking disgrace. This country's becoming a joke. It's a joke. What's going on in this country right now is a disgrace.
So here's the text. It says, and the president shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. So I don't think that implies 2/3, but
I know the cabinet is.
Shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and councils, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. That's what it says. And I guess she's saying the special... Now, the interesting thing about this is that she relied on Justice Clarence Thomas's concurrence in the immunity case. And because Clarence Thomas basically brought this up in the immunity case, and he said things that basically said, you can't usurp...
I was wrong, man. Simple majority.
Simple majority.
I apologize.
It's okay. That's why we have this here for our
That's crazy,
reference.
Dude. I swear I thought it was 2/3.
That's for amendments, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Son of a gun. I hate it when I'm wrong, to Kevin especially.
It's okay.
To Kevin especially.
He'll never let you live it down.
God
That's
dang.
the thing with
okay.
Kevin.
He's like, remember that time
He
on...
proves me wrong.
He'll
all the
bring it
time.
up 10 years later.
Yeah.
I won't.
He's like,
At least it's
you
recorded
know,
for all
season
eternity.
12, episode 23, you questioned me on the Constitution.
Like, no, I didn't. That was episode 22. Play it back, John. But I thought it was interesting that she relied on Justice Thomas's recent opinion, concurring opinion, not even majority opinion, in the immunity case. And he said, in that case about Smith, there are serious questions whether the Attorney General has violated that structure by creating an office of the special counsel that has not been established by law. So she's like, oh, Clarence Thomas is right. I'm going to rely on it. 93-page opinion. The crazy thing is...
dissenting opinion.
Yeah, right. Not even... It was a concurring...
It's not even law.
Yeah, not, right. So, but John, so here's the thing. In Tom, you know this. So as a lawyer, is that the crazy thing to me is like, okay, how is this not cured by Merrick Garland just saying like, all right, I'm just going to... Fine. You think he shouldn't be prosecutor? It's kind of like in the Georgia case. I'll throw him off. I'll just let the Attorney General for the Southern District of Florida prosecute the case.
Okay.
Or
okay, so does he get to take off where the special prosecutor?
Yeah, like why isn't the remedy like get another prosecutor? But I don't know. I guess the Court of Appeals will decide that. But sure, it's not going to be decided before the election. And if Trump wins, guess what? This special counsel will be yesterday's news.
Yeah,
and that won't be there
because Trump will get rid of the special counsel. He'll pardon himself of all charges related to the documents case, and then he'll probably proceed to convict and indict and convict Joe Biden. For the same fucking thing.
Let's go round and round. Let's make a mockery of the American democratic system.
I fear that we're witnessing a decline of the American civilization. I fear that every day of my life. I see laziness. I see, just ignorance, and it just makes me really worried about the future. And
I see for the first time ever kind of like the real weaknesses of the system when people are willing to take advantage of it. And I'm not trying to... What
do you mean?
Well, like if you take, for example...
politicians aren't brave enough to do what's not popular. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying like things like if you believe the Republican side of it, it's the, quote unquote weaponizing of the Justice Department and like the FBI and everybody else. And if you believe the Democrats, it's Trump doesn't believe in the rule of law. He's going to do this like Plan 2025 and it's going to, upend the whole...
weaknesses I see in the American system is people in Congress that know that every year we're going $2 trillion further in debt as a country, that there's no way to pay this off. It's over the size of our annual GDP. So if America worked every day for the next year, we'd still be in debt. And we paid nothing but our bills. We'd still be in debt. And people in Congress know this, and they're doing nothing about it. They're only adding to the problem. This whole...
And nobody has the political will to do anything about it because they don't want to lose their job.
Because it's a democracy and it's all about popularity. And basically the weakness in democracy, in my opinion, and we're seeing it right now, is we can only react under a democracy when it's a total crisis. It has to be like the shit hit the fan. What are we going to do now? We can't be proactive because we rely on popularity. And if you're out in front, if you're like right now, if you're a congressman, let's say Frank Merivan suddenly said, I care about the budget. I care about the fact that we're $40 trillion in debt. And Frank Merivan goes out there and says, I think we should cut all entitlements. We need to tighten up this ship. If Frank did that, he'd be out of there in 2 years. That's the problem in the system.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Right. And the only way we're going to actually fix it is for a bunch of politicians like Frank that are going to be like, I'm willing to lose my job. And that's not going to fucking happen.
And you need it on both sides.
Right.
And right now,
they work their whole life
right now
to
they
get
don't
there.
even talk.
They worked their whole life to get to where Frank is, right?
Yep.
And you want a bunch of 435 of them to say, this isn't that important to me anymore. It's more important is the good of the country.
Right.
Bullshit, dude. It's not like that anymore. It was like that in the 1700s. It's not like that. We're a bunch of lazy, entitled people now, and it's failing.
And no
Democracy
one has the balls to take a stance. That no one
That's
has
right.
the balls to say, like, this needs to get fixed on many fronts, not just the budget. But you're right. That's a great place to start. Listen, we've got a very important guest here.
Yes, we do.
That demands the respect of our locomotive every day.
She does demand the respect of the locomotive every day.
And so I want to make sure we don't make her late. So let's do our ads as you take the time to get our guest.
We were going to talk about J.D. Vance, but
I know. This is
I'm
just
sorry.
What we talked about is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
of the
Let's
last
talk about J.D.
72
Vance on
hours.
Friday.
Yeah.
okay.
Is that good? Well, that's up to you.
I think it was a good pick. I do. I think that was a good pick. It was a military guy, Ohio, which, I mean, Kevin points out that I'm a dumbass for thinking like that, but you did. Like, I think Ohio's an important state. I think there's no chance whatsoever Democrats get Ohio. You told me that wasn't going to happen anyway.
Yeah, I think ever since Obama's reelect, it's been red, and I don't think it was. I don't
But
see
like-
it as a listed state of like a toss-up or a
You think it's like right
battleground
where
state.
Indiana is?
Not as far, but I think it. I mean, they have like a Democratic senator still, but I think in
How about this?
presidential years, it's been red since 2012.
Trump had the Indiana guy for his vice president for the
Yeah.
last 4 years, right? And Indiana was in the bag, and he still
That's
picked
right.
Pence, right?
That's right.
So now he gets. I think Ohio's more in play than Indiana.
Yes, but like for example, like I'm trying to.
You don't
think-
want to give me anything.
No, I know. I'm just saying
You're
that.
like, yes, but you're still wrong because of this.
No.
I don't think anybody says Ohio's a toss-up. Let me put it that way, or a battleground.
It's
John,
more of a
do you-
toss up than where we
Agree-
live. And
fair.
he picked the vice president from Indiana
And he
4
didn't
years
have it-
ago.
and he still
Indiana's
won.
not a toss up.
and you still won.
But after Saturday, everything's changed.
Agreed.
After that assassination attempt, Ohio's definitely not in play. Other states aren't in play.
Do you think it was?
You
a good,
think Ohio was in play before?
Could have been. Who
I think
knows?
so.
I don't. I disagree, but okay, it's fine.
Do you think Indiana was in play?
No.
Then why did you pick Pence?
That's what my point is that
Yeah,
the vice
no.
presidential picks aren't necessarily like it's like McCain picked Palin. Alaska.
I
Wasn't
think he
in play.
picked Pence 4 years ago because he wanted the evangelical vote. He's got that now.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he doesn't need Pence anymore, right? So why did he pick Vance? Military? I'm
I
trying
think-
to figure it out.
I think
military helps, right?
I think somebody who's
A
been
jarhead? Come on, that's a
Oh, it
good,
doesn't
that's a-
hurt. Oh,
yeah,
for
a jarhead
sure.
on the ticket is good for the ticket,
without a doubt.
because all the jarheads are very loyal people. All
J.D.
due
Vance is
respect.
very
I'm a
popular.
freaking Navy guy. I could say jarhead. Okay, I just want to point that out. I was in the freaking Navy for 6 years. They call me Squid. I call them Jarhead. That's how it works.
It's appropriate.
So don't get all fucking, ooh, Mayor said Jarhead. Fucking get the fuck out of here. That's what's wrong with our fucking country. Is that person that was like, Tom McDermott said Jarhead. Fuck you. That's what's wrong with America.
Yeah.
I said fucking Jarhead. That's what he is. If he saw me, he'd say fucking
I didn't
Squid,
flinch,
okay?
John. By the way, when he said it, I didn't.
No,
flinch.
there's people out there though.
No one is in here is going like, "Hey, dude."
No, I'm talking about that person watching right now. It's like, I can't believe the mayor of Hammond said Jarhead.
Wow.
I could fucking say Jarhead.
Okay. Nobody was getting.
I think Vance.
Sounds all right,
I know,
man.
this
Whoa.
is, I think Vance is going to help
we-
with other states too, like Pennsylvania. And
yeah.
Rust Belt.
Pennsylvania,
call.
Rust Belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
call.
Michigan.
So-
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're gonna
mean,
get
I'm
him
sure
out there
Fetterman's going to be out there busting it because Fetterman got like $100 million from Biden, so Fetterman's probably Joe Biden's boy in Pennsylvania, right?
I don't know.
sure.
Fetterman's
I would
turned
hope.
into-
Is Fetterman alive?
He's
I don't-
turned into quite the conservative, though.
I
man.
want,
Fetterman.
you know what? Because this is interesting to me. I got freaking screwed in 2022 by Joe Biden when I was running, and they decided to take a pass on a soldier like me. I'm a soldier. I'm a handy guy to have on a campaign. Okay, they didn't want my help, so that's fine. But they've invested everything they got in Fetterman. So I hope Fetterman is busting his ass for you, Joe Biden. I just hope that. I hope Fetterman's just like campaigning hard across Pennsylvania for you, Joe, because you fucked everybody else. Like me, got fucked, hung out there with nothing, and I'm a loyal soldier. It sucks.
We lived it.
Yeah. And
2022.
how many times were we promised? How many times were we promised? You just keep doing this.
We were
gonna
promised
give you
at least some staff, at the very least, but we didn't get that either.
So, like, when you're a loyal Democrat and you do everything they ask you to do, and then it's your turn to go, and everybody says, fuck you, Tom. And then they're like, hey, you're on board with Team Biden, right?
And we talked about that then, but it just goes to show you that they didn't really take into account, and they really need to take into account how to get the Midwest back. And it's not by, even if it was like, give Tom money and he still loses by a little bit, or he still loses. It's okay because you've used that money to kind of
Not just that,
re-energize like people like Tom in the Democratic Party that help you remember that, okay, I can vote for Democrats.
How about
I'm
this,
good.
Kev? Let's say in Hammond, where, I'm the Joe Biden of Hammond, I guess, right now. That's going to come back to haunt me.
Oh,
That's-
God.
Man.
That's
No,
getting
I'm
close
not.
somewhere.
There's your title.
It's like, wait till the next Mayor's Night Out, John. Let's see how Tom does.
Okay, so let's say one of my loyal allies in Hammond that I didn't think had a chance in hell to win. Okay, a loyal lieutenant. It's like, Mayor, I'm running for council.
Okay,
and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get killed. Like, but it's a loyal friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's a soldier. He goes out there, and I'm like, this guy's gonna get smoked in this council race. But what am I gonna do, right? Am I gonna be like, fuck, I'm not giving you shit. I'm gonna ignore you.
Right.
If I did that, and that person lost, the next time I ran for mayor, guess what that person's gonna do to me? He's going to be like, fuck you, Mayor. You hung me out to dry, right? That's how that works, right? I'm a freaking soldier, Kevin.
I know.
I'm a soldier for the party. I'm the guy that they want on their team. Every time it's tough, they bring on me, and I bust my ass for them. And I'm like, sometimes I'm the only one, and I'm willing to lose. I'm that guy. So I run for U.S. Senate, and it's my turn to go, and everybody hangs me out to dry.
Everyone turns their back.
And now they're like, okay, well, are you on board, Tom? Yeah, I'm on board. I'm a Democrat, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking pissed off Democrat. I'll tell you that.
We need pissed off Democrats because it's actually going to make change.
Okay, let's go. Then I'm in. Let's go. I'm going to make change.
I think Marissa isn't.
I like
sure
change.
Marissa's
Change
happy
is good.
Be happy to see you this morning.
I feel like, are you about to announce your run for president or something? I mean, like,
I would be better than anybody running if I ran for president. I'd be better than all three of them.
Agree.
Combined.
I'm with you.
I'd be better than all three of them. I'd get more votes than freaking. But you know what? A U.S. congressman was running against Joe Biden, and nobody knows about it because the whole fucking media just locked him out. So what would happen if I ran for president? I'm a good candidate. I'm a veteran. I ran a city for 20 years. If I ran for president, I would do a kick-ass job, but I would be ignored because they want Joe Biden. They want this zombie because of what Kevin said. Kevin's like, all these people got their hands up Joe's butt, controlling his arms, controlling his mouth, controlling everything. Those people don't want Tom McDermott.
It goes to exactly what you were talking
They don't
about.
want
about the budget. Like, you think these people want to be out in a limb saying, Joe, you should step down? No, because guess what? You'd lose your job. You'd lose your power base. You'd lose everything you have.
That's right.
Instead of going back and making a living like the rest of us. So,
good discussion. I'm gonna go kiss my wife and bring her in the studio. Why don't
we
go
got a
ahead and do
lot
some
of
ads?
ads. You want to read an ad
Sure.
or two
Meditate,
first,
sure.
so
I'll
we
do
can.
Power in Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. Are you thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have plans to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit powerindiana.org today to ensure your project's in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at powerindiana.org.
The branding room floor. Don't let your business get lost in the shuffle of generic branding and aimless marketing. The branding room floor is Northwest Indiana's best full-service marketing agency, providing data-driven results to help grow your business. From website development and digital advertising to graphic design and branding, the branding room floor will set your business or organization on a clear path to strategic success. Don't wait another day to get started. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com today.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Are you facing legal challenges and don't know what to do? Who are you going to call? Kuklakis, that's who. Look no further. Your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and in Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Kuklakis Law. Forming a new business? Call Kuklakis Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue is, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Kuklakis Law, that's who. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com for tailored assistance. Don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint to be premier printing and sign solution in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltensberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time and within budget. Conveniently located in Munster and in Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give them a call and schedule your consultation today with someone who's in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell, 219-5544-LAW, or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With great Michelob Ultra partners like Lionel Messi and epic summer events, including the Festival of the Lakes, Team USA Soccer, and the 2024 Olympics, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra social media for more info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers, and cheers responsibly.
Serving all in Northwest Indiana with no annoying contracts to sign. The Bug Guy Pest Control. Monthly and one-time services available, insects, rodents, and more. They offer pet-friendly, safe, effective treatments for commercial, residential, municipal, office, warehouse, and more. Give the Bug Guy a call today at 219-810-7481 or find them on Facebook to get your free estimate today. And I can tell you the Bug Guy effectively dealt with my issues last week. Thank you, Brian.
What kind of issues did you have?
We had a tree in the house, like a
tree in the house?
Well, yep, that had
Wow,
not from the storm,
fancy.
not from the storm. That had some sap and it was attracting flies somehow, and they figured it out.
In the house?
Yeah, it was a fig tree. Long story.
Okay.
No
Pressmore
figs,
Insurance
though.
Agency.
Your mic
Fig
isn't
tree.
working. There it is.
We have the last one. Who's doing it?
It didn't have figs though.
Pressmore Insurance Agency. Ron J. For decades, the Ron J. Pressmore Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance. The Pressmore Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Look who's in the studio.
Yeah.
Your better half.
She goes, I got treated to a Tom rant as soon as I went out there and saw her.
She's like, I can't
What
wait
else
to get
is
in there.
new?
What am I supposed to do?
I think my head's too small for these. Oh,
She's
there we
like,
go.
There you go.
This is
They're
what Marissa
adjustable.
does. That's what Marissa does when
Good morning.
Yes. She ignores you.
yeah,
Good.
she
She's
just like
doing
moves
good.
on. Like
She's
she
doing
didn't-
great.
I know
I'm an expert at that.
she is. It
That's
pisses
why
me
it
off.
works.
We are so honored
Married
to have.
25 years, Jill.
That's why it
That's
That's
works.
how it happens.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
So, Kevin, I am so impressed with this office space.
Oh, thank
which
you.
I've never seen before.
Welcome.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Huh?
Welcome.
I saw Mr. Kennedy outside.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Yes.
has no power and water in his basement, so
Oh,
I think we
man.
got off pretty good.
I think
Oh,
we
no.
did. Missed
Yeah.
me
You
by
lost
about
your
a
power.
block.
You lost power
For
though.
temporarily, but the trees down in my huge trees in my neighborhood go one block to the south, and then it was
How about you,
disaster.
Jill?
It was super windy, but like I didn't lose power or anything. So.
Jay Vaz?
Lost power for a little bit. My parents are still out in Hessville.
Dude, they were like talking about that storm. Like you would have thought it was Armageddon coming. Like people were frantic, and I was just like chilling, just like.
Did you go on your
upstairs.
porch?
I did.
Yeah.
Until it started raining because I didn't want to. I did. It was a little scary on the
We were in the
porch.
basement.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was on the porch.
2/3 of our family was in the basement.
Yeah.
You can guess which 2/3.
Yes.
1/3 was protecting
Actually,
the
if you
house.
count the dogs, that's 4/5.
4/5.
4/5. 1/5 was protecting the house. Standing
We had
out
a couple
front.
kids stop by because they were driving through. They're like, "Can we stop at your house, Mr. Smith?" Sure, come on in, guys.
Really?
They were just driving. They were freaked out. I
No
said,
way.
Come on in.
I saw so many trees down on the way here.
Oh yeah.
Columbia
Yeah.
Center, a tree fell on one of the buildings.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Crushed
get
the
report on
roof,
that. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
no.
our public works guys are out there humping already.
Without
Yeah,
a doubt.
they were in the middle of the night. They went out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to our circuit
Thank
court.
We
you.
judge
came here to
show.
talk about.
Did you wear that shirt just because I was coming in?
Yes.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
It's a Rizzo.
I wore a
shirt.
suit just
Aw.
because you were coming in.
I did wear this from Marissa, but it's a Rizzo jersey. By
Rizzo's
the way.
the only guy that could get Tom to wear a
Yeah.
Yankees jersey.
I love
so-
Rizzo.
right.
He's my favorite.
Yes.
Probably my favorite
One of the
player.
best.
He's the best, isn't he?
Injured this year.
And he's just a great guy too.
Mhm.
Like, not only is he a great ball player, a great Cub,
You could tell he's a good guy.
he's just a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, love him. Miss him, actually. That was the one Cub that really broke my heart when he left. So I wear this to Wrigley Field, and people like give me props. They're like, Yankee, and then they see the back, and they're like, never mind. I get it. I get it.
What brings our circuit court judge to us today?
To talk Cubs. Cubs baseball.
No, actually, a story that was really
Big.
top of line last week.
Friday.
But sort of got pushed off the front page pretty quickly.
But we
still
kept you.
interesting.
But we kept you.
Thank
We
you.
didn't push you off.
Thank you. Thank you.
We wouldn't do that to our circuit court judge.
Yeah, I'm here to talk Alec Baldwin manslaughter trial.
Can you give us like a little background about how you have a personal
Yeah.
experience in this first, which got you so interested in the whole case
Yes,
well?
yes, I'd be happy to. Thank you, Kevin.
Sure.
It's almost like we talked about this ahead of time.
What a tee up.
So this past March, I happened to be in Santa Fe for a conference, the women's bench and bar that
Right.
Indiana holds. So it was great. A lot of attorneys and judges from Indiana went out to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Interesting place, by the way. I had never been. If you love great food, art, how's
the scenery?
it's beautiful, yeah, but a very small town. That was surprising to me. I walked that entire downtown area and, almost kind of ran out of places to walk to because it's very, very small.
What are you laughing at, Vez?
But
You.
it has a huge courthouse right in the middle of it, and it happened to be that's where the Rust trial, the Rust movie Armorer's trial was happening the same week that I was.
So not
there in
Alec
Santa
Baldwin's.
Fe.
This was the one that happened
Right,
several
the
months
one
ago.
that was in March, right? So she
That was the armorer, yeah.
Yes. So she was the one that was also charged with involuntary manslaughter. And she was a young lady. I can tell you because I did go to the courthouse and I watched a big part of that trial. Very young person and was on trial for involuntary manslaughter. And
Not young enough to be hired as an armorer for a major predict.
Well, her
right?
father is a well-known armorer in the industry.
What do you know? I wonder how she got her
Nepotism.
job.
So that might have helped. But anyway, so I was there for the closing arguments of that
Oh,
trial.
wow.
Yes. And
And
I
she
got
was
to,
she was convicted.
it was the same judge, the same courtroom, the same prosecutor as the Alec Baldwin trial.
So a special prosecutor in the Armorer trial and in this one.
Yes.
It was a special prosecutor?
I don't know if she's special, but she,
Yeah.
think
Why wouldn't
yes.
it just be why?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it just
that's
be
what
the
I
DA?
read.
Are you saying
Really?
she's not
Prosecutor.
special?
anyway.
No, like appointed
mom
specially.
thinks she is.
Like,
Anyway, Prosecutor
LOCPOD
Morrissey was the same prosecutor in that trial as well as this trial, okay? And I saw her perform, and I was there watching it with a few other judges, and we all just agreed with each other that this prosecutor had put on an incredible presentation. By the end of her closing argument, we looked at each other and we thought, well, her goose is cooked. This woman's going to be she's
The
going to
armorer.
be the
Yeah.
armor that she's going to be.
it was involuntary.
Yeah,
right?
involuntary manslaughter. But what was interesting, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, is because so much of that evidence that the prosecutor was recapping in her closing arguments had to do with the bullets and what the bullets looked like and the origin of the bullets. And even though the conviction didn't depend on the armorer actually bringing the live bullets to the set, because she could have been convicted whether or not because she was the one responsible ultimately for the bullet to go into the gun, right? But I can tell you that the prosecutor really spent a lot of time putting that into the minds of the jury, that it was probably likely that the armorer was the source of the live bullet on the set.
And that's the key part of that trial, right? The source of.
Well, I don't think that the prosecution needed that, but I bet it definitely helped in getting that conviction. So that was a huge. I'm telling you, they had screenshots of images of these bullets, and we're looking at the color, and we're looking at I learned all about the primer, which is the thing that the hammer hits with a Colt 45. So it's a revolver gun, and so there was so much emphasis on that. Okay, so then she gets convicted. I was not surprised. The prosecutor did a fabulous job.
Sent to prison.
Was she actually?
Yes,
I know she
I
was
think she's
sentenced.
there
I don't know
now.
if she's actually in custody now,
Okay.
right?
All
Okay,
right.
so
Yes.
I actually got a chance to say hello to that judge at a restaurant. Again, Santa Fe is a tiny town. I went to a restaurant, and there's the judge that had just
Wow.
completed the trial.
That
So
we've seen on TV.
I went up and introduced myself, and it's funny because she and I are probably the same height, same build, same size. We're like looking at each other eye to eye, and I just said, I thought you did a great job, and and she mentioned that this trial was going to be happening this summer. So I was at dinner with Tom last week. when I got a text from my mom saying they just dismissed the Alec Baldwin trial. And this was in the middle of the trial, totally unheard of. So, of course, I immediately wanted to know what happened. And I went and watched the entire hearing, which was hours and hours and hours long. And
Did you leave Tom at dinner? Or did you?
no,
Yeah.
that was when we got home. That was when we got home.
Tom's
Yeah.
like, Tom's sitting there and
was
what happened?
awkward
My mom
'cause
called
she
me.
drove.
I gotta run home and watch
So-
this hearing.
I sat there and just finished my chicken, like Uber
brought
home.
Marissa's home for her.
Yeah, I'm like, this
It's
happens
7
often.
hours long, isn't
No.
it? 9 hours
But
long.
I did skip dessert. Tom, I had no dessert that night.
Tom's like, what? This sucks.
That's someone who loves her profession.
Yeah.
We have to skip dessert. I got to go watch this trial.
Then I Ubered
For
home.
hours.
Yeah.
Tom Ubered home.
But it's interesting because it is so. First of all, in a criminal case, it's almost unheard of to have the case dismissed. But if it is dismissed, it's usually dismissed before the trial, not 4 days into a trial.
We got clips coming, right?
Yes.
We're
So
good.
getting to that. Thank you. Moving me along.
Yeah, we're like digging deep here.
Tom's rant cut into
No,
my,
no. Like
No!
we have
Agreed. I tried to
we
pull
gotta
you
have
in like
Marissa.
5 minutes earlier.
yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna. This first clip is one of the defense attorneys giving a quick summation because this whole motion to dismiss started when they found out, cross-examining the crime scene tech, when for the first time the defense is finding out that some guy walked in to the police department with a bag full of bullets and said, "Hey, these are the same bullets that were sent. They didn't make it to the set from the same batch."
And this is this guy Kenny that we keep hearing about, right?
Yeah,
Mr. Kenny. Okay.
But the defense attorney is summarizing what happened and why there should be dismissal.
Just let me know when you want me to stop this.
Couple hours, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fast forward to March 6, 2024. The end of Hannah Gutierrez Reed's trial. Teskey's in Santa Fe. Sees what happens, shows up at the sheriff's office, as we heard from Ms. Popple, and delivers that live ammunition that Hancock had not preserved, that Ms. Morrissey had not collected, that he believed could be from the same batch, from that same green ammo can that we care about, that matched the bullet that killed Helena Hutchins.
Why is that important, Marissa?
Because the origin of that live bullet was such a big part of the Hannah Gutierrez case. It's such a big part of this Baldwin case. And the fact that it was literally buried, it was put into a different case number in a different place and was not with the evidence that the defense
By the
ever
prosecutors.
saw. By the prosecutor. It was ultimately the prosecutor's decision.
And the origin of the bullet is important. Why? Because as far as Alec Baldwin's concerned.
Because if there... Okay, that's less important than the prosecutor burying evidence.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay?
Right.
And
Because it's for the defense to decide,
it's
okay,
for the defense
what are
to
we going to
decide,
do with it?
How do we
right?
defend that? How do we
Scope of
defend that?
discovery is broad, right?
There you go.
You have to turn it's absolutely inculpatory, exculpatory. Everything has to go to the other side.
Let them figure out what they're going
and
to do
let them
with it.
figure it out. And for them to find out 4 days into a trial, now how do you possibly defend against that, right? So
we have a clip of that, right? The judge.
yeah, so I wanted to go to that 633 there.
Yep.
So this is the judge really drilling down on one of the witnesses who made this decision to take this piece of evidence where this guy walked in and said it's related to this case and decide it's not related. We're
John.
going to separate it.
That judge looks exactly like Nikki Haley, doesn't she?
Dude, I was thinking the same
Same-
thing.
yeah.
When
Just
Marissa
like
said
Nikki
it.
I
Haley.
do have that same game face, I have to say, when I'm on.
You do share a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, size-wise, I could
Yeah.
tell.
What
Yeah.
was it like in
You
that
could tell she's
restaurant
sitting
with like
down.
two
Yeah.
Nikki Haley lookalikes having lunch together?
She could stand up and be 6'8".
You could
She
tell.
does
She's
stand.
small.
Well, I'm not. We won't show that clip, but she came off the bench and opened an evidence bag with the attorneys around her, and yeah, it was interesting. All right, so this is her talking to the lead detective, Detective Hancock. That's the lady sitting in the witness box, because the detective's saying people made this decision, and she wants to know who made
The
this
judge is
decision. The
asking her.
judge wants to know
Why is
from
the
the
judge
lead
asking her
detective.
questions?
It's a hearing.
the-
Jury's
This is-
jury's
you're
excused.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
gotcha,
hearing.
gotcha,
There's no
yeah.
jury
Gotcha.
watching any of this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, did you and Popple have a conversation about what to do with this ammo?
To my understanding, it was going to be put in evidence
Which evidence?
at the sheriff's office.
The rust evidence?
No.
Why
just,
not?
Just as far in our evidence section in the sheriff's office.
And why was that determination made?
As to why
Who
it
made
was.
it? Let me ask you, who made it?
These were discussions that were had with myself, with the supervisors at that time, and then with the prosecutors.
Were you the lead investigator?
Yes.
Okay. And you said, and
So
That's the essential part there is that they had the conversation
Absolutely.
with the prosecutors.
Absolutely.
Prosecutors
they sit down
had
with the
knowledge.
prosecutor and they decide, oh, this isn't relevant. So the judge is getting upset. You see that pink can there that she's
The
drinking
water
from?
bottle?
You could tell she's getting upset because if you go to the next 637 there.
She throws it.
That'd be awesome.
Now I'm
Like,
interested now.
holy
She's
shit.
getting snippy.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Judge
Here we
getting
go.
snipped.
We don't know how to answer
all right,
that.
thank you. Redirect?
I can't provide the video until she logs into this system. Mr.
You know,
Snyder's
I don't even think the video's relevant. She did not view it until today, so you can look at it, but do you have any cross-exam for her?
I just need to develop my records, so I need to get the video in. I need to get the video
You
in.
can get the video in, okay? Are you gonna get it in through her? Because I said it should come in from the person that wore the body
I
camera.
agree with you, he's here.
Okay, well, fine. So, do you have any cross-examination for her?
I do.
Okay. So you could see the judge is getting annoyed and this body cam there was an officer that had a camera when the guy brought in the bullets to the police department. So there's a whole video of that. That never saw the light of day. The report that was written up because the guy brought it in, and he said, I want to sign a statement. I want to sign a report. That never saw the light
So
of
what
day.
and just kind of like for maybe folks that aren't lawyers or listening or just wondering a little bit about this, the issue here is that, as Judge McDermott pointed out, prosecutors have an obligation to turn over everything to the defense, and
That's
that means
even reasonably
everything.
related.
And in this instance, what you're hearing is that the prosecutors, on their own decision, determined not only are we not turning it over, we're not even going to put this in the same case. They put it in some other case number.
Yeah. So this
Even though they got all the bullets out of the arrest scene shooting, the crime scene.
This judge
all of them were collected there, and then they put it into
Right.
another case file.
So
like it had nothing to do with the arrest case.
the judge is honing in on what she probably at this point sees
Figures
is
out, yeah.
prosecutorial misconduct. And as a prosecutor now, by the way, the other prosecutor that was on this case, she quit earlier this day.
Earlier this day?
She took herself off the case.
And do we think it might be because she realized what had happened and she was like, I'm going to be no part of this?
She probably just...
Maybe she had nothing to do with
She
the
probably
decision.
She's like,
realized-
who made the decision to withhold
She
this?
probably realized where this was going and wanted no part of it.
Maybe
Now,
she didn't have any part
the
of the
lead
original
the
decision
lead
making.
prosecutor was not as smart.
Okay.
And
Because, like, think about it. For these people, one day, prosecutors oftentimes go out into the private practice, right? Who wants to be the prosecutor on court TV that loses the arrest case? And then you go off to private practice.
But
You're like, hey, you want to, like, let me be your lawyer.
Yeah,
I
but
lost a high-profile
You
TV.
have to remember, too, attorneys and judges have to follow ethical rules. So if there's an ethical case that comes out of this, which I would be shocked if there isn't, all of this is going to be part of that
Again.
case. So here's the crazy thing. Towards the end of the hearing, the prosecutor calls herself as a witness, puts herself under oath, and this is the clip.
This
where
is the elected prosecutor, Marissa?
Yeah, I think she's elected. I know.
She's,
I don't think she's, I don't
not
think
the
she's
DA.
elected. I
She's
think,
not
I think
the
she's
DA.
a deputy.
She's just a deputy prosecutor.
I believe she's
From
a
what I
deputy.
read, they were special prosecutors. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're not the elected
She's not the
prosecutor.
elected district attorney.
But
Okay.
what's crazy is that the defense attorney and the judge are basically telling her, don't take the stand, and she decides to do it anyway.
Wow.
It'll go in. It'll go in. It's just fine.
We're back on the record.
The report indicated that you wanted me under oath, and I'm happy to do that. Where would you like me?
Well, okay, so just clear, you're a witness, okay? So you can say oath or whatever, but are you calling yourself as a witness? Or do you want Mr. Spiro to call you as a witness?
It doesn't matter to me. How do you want to do it?
Now, look, he throws her a
It's
lifeline.
necessary, frankly, for this evidentiary record for me to call Ms. Morrissey. I know what happened, and the court knows what happened. I don't think that we need anything further.
Okay, do you want to call yourself as a
Sure.
witness? No, well, just a minute. So he's willing, as I understand it, to rest
She's trying to
now.
throw her a lifeline.
Okay? Now, you don't have to say anything under oath if you don't want to.
No, I'm happy to.
Ethics.
Okay, so not only happy to, you know, I don't, it doesn't
They look
matter to me
dumb
whether you call yourself as a witness. It doesn't matter to the defense whether you call yourself as a witness. So if you're calling yourself as a witness, there's no one here that's requiring you to be called as a witness.
The information, everything that happened in this regard, especially as it pertains to me, needs to come out in the public.
So there it is.
So
she decides to call herself as a witness.
So that she can protect herself from ethical charges?
No. If anything, the judge is saying, don't do this because you're probably opening yourself up to more statements you're making under oath.
Hold it. Let me dig down on that. Because you didn't turn over the evidence and you're going to have to reveal that, right? And that's going to be an ethical violation?
I think this prosecutor thinks, in her opinion, she's going to explain why it's not a violation. But most people in the courtroom, if you listen to the defense attorney...
So the ethical violation is the failure to turn over the discovery.
The Brady violation, yes. Yeah, and I think if you listen to the defense attorney, he's like, I got this. I am killing her right now. I know where the judge is going, and I am not going to do anything that's going to hurt where my position is right now.
Right. And I really maybe it was just out of the kindness of his heart because he realized,
I don't think so. I think he knew he was winning. I think he was like, I'm winning this, and I'm not going to let her. Why would I call her to try to explain herself?
So right after the prosecutor takes the witness stand, the judge makes her decision.
All right, here we go.
The order only rises to the level of exclusion or dismissal where the state's conduct is especially culpable, such as where evidence is unilaterally withheld by the state in bad faith, or all access to the evidence is precluded by state intransience.
Prosecutor looks like she hasn't
The
slept.
state is highly culpable for its failure to provide this discovery to the defendant. The state unilaterally withheld a supplemental report. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Officer made the decision, and apparently also with the prosecutor, as pursuant to Hancock's testimony, that the evidence was of no evidentiary value and failed to connect the evidence to the instant case. The case agent, as well as pursuant to Hancock's testimony, Ms. Morrissey, was aware of the new evidence and yet did not make an effort to disclose it to defense. The state's willful withholding of this information was intentional and deliberate. If this conduct does not rise to the level of bad faith, it certainly comes so near to bad faith as to show signs of scorching.
All right. So the judge is, she's laying out why she's about to do what she's going to do, and then here she does it. It's 7:41.
This is the only warranted remedy. The jury has been sworn, jeopardy has attached, and a mistrial would not be based upon manifest necessity. Further, the sanction of dismissal is warranted in this case.
Baldwin?
The state has repeatedly made representations to defense and to the court that they were compliant with all their discovery obligations.
So she says dismissal is the only option. And you can see Baldwin starts crying. His brother's in the back, and I guess he was crying too. And
yeah, Tom, you want to talk about
3 years of having these charges hanging over his head. The charges were instituted, then dropped, and then reinstituted. I'm sure he's paid a lot of money to the defense attorneys, but I guarantee Hannah Gutierrez's attorneys are now working on their appeal.
Same. Well, they're saying that, or they're just going to file a motion to.
Because they didn't get the evidence either. Right?
Yeah, and maybe not even an appeal, right? I think they'll file something in the trial court.
Right.
It opens the door
They'll have to at least do another trial, right?
It opens the door to the question of
same issue.
What other evidence was buried?
Well, and in the same evidence that was brought forth in his that was buried. So I think she's
what's interesting about this case? Kevin and I were talking about this last night, Marissa, is we have two high-profile dismissals in the same week. So we had the Trump records case in Florida dismissed by the judge down there, and then we have the Alec Baldwin dismissal in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And we were talking about why are they different?
So the interesting thing is, in the Trump case, the government's probably going to appeal the dismissal.
They've already said they're appealing.
They are going to appeal the dismissal. And in the Alec Baldwin case, this is the end of the case. And the difference for the lay people out there is something called jeopardy, whether or not jeopardy attaches. And Kevin and I actually got in an argument about this last night. I thought that the Trump case was over in Florida because, they'd already charged him. And jeopardy doesn't attach, as Kevin pointed out, until witnesses are sworn.
Yeah, sometimes juries impaneled, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
So in this case, in the Florida case, because it was still in the pretrial stages, the case is dismissed, but the government could appeal that without violating Donald Trump's double jeopardy.
Correct.
Okay. And in the Alec Baldwin case, because the jury had already been sworn, jeopardy attaches, and that case is dead.
Right. Can never retry Alec Baldwin.
That's interesting. Though,
very interesting.
Because it happened in the same week, and it's two totally different outcomes on dismissals. Why one's going forward probably and the other one's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear about double jeopardy, and that's a great example that Tom just set forth is why it attaches in one case and you can never be retried, and in
Kevin
the other case we can.
I hate it. Right.
Okay,
I know he was right. I called John Cantrell because I was like, dude, I got you on this one, and Cantrell was like, no, Kevin's right. Pissed me off.
Hey, that's why he's so fired up today.
Well, I hope everybody thought this was as interesting as I did. It was
very
extremely unusual.
How often do we get to get?
Really never happens.
You're the LOCPOD judicial expert. I don't know if you realize that.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get a lot of pay for that, like we all do. So it's the check's in the mail.
No, I want to be clear. I got paid nothing to be here. I don't. Need
Yeah,
that.
right. Merce ends up with that.
Yes, you did. I mean, not money. It's all about having to,
You get to live with this every day.
But can we settle this once for all? Is it Melissa or Marissa?
Well, I guess it's Melissa
Thanks,
now.
Judge
I don't
Melissa.
know.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'll be doing the
God,
Who's
that's
Smarter
not so
Than
bad.
Who's Smarter Than University of Chicago Physician next Sunday.
Oh,
That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
I want
And
you to
Marissa was
kick
so
his
excited
butt.
that she was picked, and then I was excited for her because happy wife, happy life, and all that stuff, right? So I go downstairs and it's in the paper. I'm like, wow, this thing's in the paper. Marissa's a part of, and then I read it says Judge Marissa McDermott, and I was like,
I think my money's on
close.
Marissa, by the way. My money's on
dude,
you.
I do.
Well, I'm definitely better with science and medical questions than I am with pop culture.
All right.
So
And they got pop culture, and you've
yeah.
got science and medical.
right.
All right. Well,
Right.
good luck.
So-
We want you to make the region proud,
Have you
like
been
you always
studying?
do.
Studying?
She
Yeah.
studies every day.
Studying what?
Science and
No, she doesn't need to do that.
No,
She
no,
watches-
no.
Marissa studies all the time. She watches the craziest shit
Okay.
at night.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I made a joke about her watching like a grasshopper thing, but what was it last night? And I was like, Marissa, seriously?
Yeah.
It was a
What
food
was
show.
it?
Was
a
it
food
Nova?
show.
Oh, food show.
No,
I love Nova.
No,
I
it was
super
Zimmern.
salty.
It was Zimmern, who used to do weird food, or what was it Weird Foods, and now he does
Yeah.
Bizarre Foods. Yeah, Andrew Zimmern. Tom does not like him. It's
didn't
like a
like him.
visceral reaction. I don't know. Tom
I know. I
and
was like,
Andrew
first
Zimmern,
off,
it's
I was
very
fasting.
weird.
I don't want to watch food while I'm fasting,
Well,
right?
just go to another room.
We were laying down.
No, it was like Korean barbecue. Oh,
It looks so good. I know, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I'm starving right
Wait,
now. And
why
you're
are
like,
you fasting?
I fast at nights now. I started January 1st. Thanks for noticing.
Well, it's
So you just don't. So you just don't eat when
I
you're
was gonna say-
sleeping, or
no, Jill.
I try not to.
that's not
actually.
fasting.
I try not to.
It just means no snacking after dinner.
Okay.
It's really what it boils down to. And no,
That's
no
important,
booze.
though.
And no booze.
It is important.
And no booze. I don't. What are you
Never
talking
been a
about?
big drinker.
I haven't had a
I
drink.
said it's important.
I was drinking for a little. I wasn't a big drinker, but I
Yeah.
drank. Marissa and I got into a phase where, she was a total. No, I'm just kidding. We got into a phase where we were drinking wine, and like what would happen is this: we open a bottle of wine, right? Marissa has a glass, right? And then I'm like a wine snob, and I'm like, dude, we can't leave the bottle laying out all night, right?
No.
So
Obviously.
she would have a glass, and I would polish it, and it became like a pattern, right?
By
And-
polish it, you mean drink the majority of the bottle?
The rest.
the rest. Like, so sometimes she would have 2 glasses and save me. But like after a long period of doing this, I started putting on a couple LBs, So I cut it out. And
It might have
that's
been the
part of my-
pretzels too.
Now you're a shadow of
The
yourself.
pretzels they're good for you. The salty pretzels.
So no pretzels at night.
No.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Can
well,
you tell?
You look great.
Jill
Tom.
couldn't, but I
Yeah,
can.
Jill couldn't.
No, he
Yeah.
looks great. He ran the fastest 5K he's run in a long time the other day. So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
in the heat.
In the heat.
It
Well,
is.
anyway.
It's great having you in. Really,
It was my
it's-
pleasure.
It really is a nice thing that we have to be able to call you up and say, "Would you come in and talk to us?" Because
Yeah, well, I appreciate
we
it.
get the circuit
Thanks.
court judge.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in.
I'm the one it was my idea. I just want to point that out.
Thank you, honey.
Oh, thanks. All right. She's like, "Thank you, Kevin, so much. You're
Well,
so sweet."
I don't
And
get
I'm
to
like,
see Marissa every day like
right
you do,
here.
so
Like,
it's
it was
nice.
my-
It's
Well, I was
nice
happy to
thank
see
her.
your offices
Oh,
because
thank
it's my
you.
first time,
Thanks
and
for
to
coming
meet
in.
Snow.
You guys want to be alone?
To meet Snow
Like,
in
you
real
guys are
life.
like having a conversation.
No, I've
Tom,
never,
you could
I've never
leave.
seen Snow before. That's pretty
Dude,
exciting.
we should put a mustache on Snow.
I'm still afraid that Tom has put it up there just enough for it to fall on me by the end of the season.
You know
made
those
it
little,
made it 2
you know
seasons.
those little Cubs hats that you eat ice cream out
Yeah.
of?
Yeah.
You should put one of those on
Good
Snow.
call.
It'd be a
We
We
should
had
perfect
those
start
at
defacing
Zips
Snow.
Ice Cream in Cal City a long time ago.
We could
but-
start, yeah. So anyway, thanks, Judge. It's good to see you, Judge Marissa,
Thank you, Mayor.
Judge
It
Melissa,
was our honor, Your Honor.
Judge Melissa.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Judge
Council,
Melissa McDermott.
Jill,
Thank you.
John,
I got
or
nothing.
at least the tops of your heads.
Yes.
That's all I can
It's
see.
good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. It was good to see you again. Jay Vez, awesome job.
Thank you.
Kevin Chandler, thank you very much. Coming to you from the Locomotive, second to last show of the season. We'll be back on Friday for the final show of season 12. Possibility that my Navy buddies are in town, but that's going to be the festival episode. So we'll be ready to talk about
Can
all
we
things
Bring
fest.
them.
Can we do one plug for Festival Lakes? FestivalLakes.com.
FestivalLakes.com. Buy tickets.
Yes.
And watch Marshmallow. It's going to be fun. All right. See y'all on Friday. On Friday for season 12, episode 24, the final episode of the season, equipped with Navy people. So take care, everybody. We're out on LOCPOD. See you next week.